Hi all. Happy days, you lovely sons of God. This is a long story, but I promise it's worth it. If you want to jump to the results, just know I manifested a job with the exact job title, the exact salary, and fully remote conditions. No compromises. Let me walk you through how I got here. I've had many job manifestation successes before, but that doesn't mean it gets easier every time. This one came with its own lessons. At first, I believed the perfect opportunity had to come to me, not through applications but by recruiters reaching out. It sounds limiting, but I didn't resist it. I just accepted that this path felt easiest. That mindset even landed me a contract at a Tier 1 bank with 6 figures, exactly the company I wanted. Let's back up a bit. I had been working my dream job, fully remote, barely any workload, 6-figure pay, but I started to feel out of place. The politics were toxic and I wanted out. Now, I didn't try to change that. Instead, I honored my feeling. Sometimes you don't need to fix things. Sometimes it's okay to want something different. I even found myself hoping the contract wouldn't be extended. And 2 months before it ended, they told me it wouldn't be renewed. If you're a contractor, you know how rare that kind of early notice is. But not in my world. I had affirmed I'd see it coming. Still, I let myself feel the grief. I cried. I sulked for 3 or 4 days. Then I let the sadness pass naturally. Once it lifted, I reminded myself I always bounce back. My process looked like this. I affirmed, I always get jobs back to back. I've never been unemployed. I'm just different, I'm lucky. But here's the deeper shift. I realized the feeling Neville talks about isn't about emotion. It's a mental knowing. You don't wake up thrilled every day once you have something. Eventually it becomes normal, natural. That knowing is the real state. So I'd breathe out any tension, and I'd mentally place myself into the belief. Not with emotion, with quiet certainty. Once the thought, yep, that checks out, settled in, I'd move on. Then it all started to happen. A recruiter reached out, not me applying. The role was exactly what I wanted. Fully remote, no chance of being called into an office. They didn't even have an office in my country. It was a more senior position than I'd ever held. In the field I wanted, for the pay I wanted. Yes, they tried to lowball me at first. But I negotiated. I even imagined the exact email saying they extended the budget. I told myself it would arrive at 8:30 a.m. It came at 8:08 a.m. I said I'd have only one-on-one interviews, no panels. They scheduled me with both the CTO and head of ops, but the night before one of them dropped out. I said the hiring process would be fast and easy, and I'd be hired in under a week. 3 quick rounds. Final interview, the CTO literally said, I look forward to you joining us. I got the offer letter on May 31st. The deadline I set in my mind. So what's the takeaway? Please, don't waste a second assuming something is too hard. Don't try to figure out how. Mentally place yourself in the knowing of already having it. That's it. Neville said it best. Dare to assume, and it really does take daring. But I promise, it works. FAQ. How do I assume multiple things? Is this SATS? Not really. I have ADHD. I can't hold focus on one thing for long. So I let my method be fluid. Sometimes I affirm one thing, sometimes several. Sometimes I script. Sometimes I visualize. I keep a notes app list of 15 or 20 affirmations. I read them before bed and right after waking. While reading, I mentally know each one is already true. Then I quickly go through 5 short visualization scenes. No forcing, no tension, just trust. Why assume ADHD instead of manifesting it away? Because I'm growing at my own pace. For me, ADHD isn't a sickness. It's how my mind works. And I choose to work with it, not against it. You're allowed to customize your path. You're allowed to use what works for you. All that matters is the knowing. It's done.
Hi guys, I want to share how I turned my entire business and financial life around in just 2 weeks. Yes, you heard that right, 2 weeks. I'm keeping this anonymous so I won't share specific business details. But trust me, anyone who knows me in real life will tell you it was a complete 80 from financial panic to total stability, from stress to peace. And today, my business continues to grow and thrive. But even more important than the money, I now feel calm, secure, looked after, like everything is okay and it always will be. Let me tell you exactly what I did. I started by writing myself a note, a reminder on my phone. A way to lock in the mindset. Here's what it said. I decide that I am wealthy, not someday, not in the future. I am wealthy now, in the 3D. Even if it's not literally true yet, I live from a place where it feels true. I fully accept it as real. I don't act delusional. I just shift my inner world. That's the only place I need to start. Once I made that decision, I went completely tunnel vision. No more worrying about what had gone wrong. No more repeating the old story. As far as I was concerned, I was wealthy, period. And slowly, almost invisibly at first, the outer world started to catch up with my inner world. Eventually, it did change. The money started to come. The business picked up. Opportunities arrived. And once my 3D reflected what I believed on the inside, that affirmation, it became a belief. I still remind myself now and then, not because I'm doubting, just to stay aligned to not fall back into old patterns. Now I'll be honest, I didn't do this calmly at first. I was desperate. Anyone who's ever gone through financial distress knows what I mean. That feeling in your chest, the anxiety that never lets you breathe fully, it's real. So I started with a softer affirmation first. I am always looked after. That's all I could handle at the time, and it helped. It calmed my nervous system. It gave me a sliver of safety. Once I felt grounded, I shifted into and I stayed there. That was it. I repeated that one line over and over. Whenever doubt crept in, whenever stress showed up, whenever I caught myself slipping into fear, I even recorded myself saying it and just played it back while doing chores or going for walks. Honestly, I'm kind of lazy about affirmations, so listening felt easier than mentally repeating it all day. After a few days of hearing it, something clicked. I just knew it was true. I didn't need to force it anymore. And from that point on, anytime a fear or doubt crept in, I'd gently go back to. This is the date most people overlook. You don't need a dozen techniques. You don't need rituals or candles or perfect scripting. You just need one solid belief and the willingness to live from it. So if you're struggling, really struggling, let me remind you, you are looked after. You can be okay again, and it can happen fast. For me, it took 2 weeks. It can be even faster for you. Just decide, right now, who are you in this moment? Because your world is listening.
Hi everyone. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I just got the call. I secured my first full-time role in my field, and the best part, it's a 6-figure starting salary for an entry-level position. Just 1 month ago, I had $34 to my name. I had gotten married young, at 21, to someone who was abusive and unfaithful. I got out, but I left with nothing. I had no money, and I had made some bad financial decisions. Everything in my 3D reflected my mental state. I went back to school and manifested an internship. It only lasted 6 months and ended with no extension. I was making $26 an hour, and then I was jobless. No savings, and credit card debt was piling up. By October, I had taken an IT help desk job, but I kept affirming that I'd land my real job. A month later, I got another internship. This one was work from home, government affiliated, and balanced. It paid only $20 an hour, a big pay cut. But it was exactly what I'd asked for. I accepted it and started paying off my debt, down to $3,000. As September approached, I knew I needed full-time work. I affirmed, I will make 6 figures by October. No ifs, ands, or buts. Everyone told me it wasn't likely, especially not for entry level, but I believed otherwise. I applied to a role at Google, got denied, and was told the job went to an internal hire. They forwarded my resume to recruiting. I kept affirming, I have the job. I make six figures. Even when I was broke, I shifted my mindset. Whenever I bought food or gas, instead of panicking, I would tell myself, I have plenty of money. It flows to me. I kept getting denied from jobs. I was exhausted. My car broke down. My card was maxed out, and I had only $34. I cried. But then, I affirmed, I make six figures. Money is no issue. I visited my fiancée, attended a wedding, walked around wealthy neighborhoods and said, this is my home. I'm so content I don't have to worry about money. 2 weeks later, my car broke down again. I was on FaceTime with my fiancée and broke down in tears. I told God, I'm done. I make six figures. It's going to happen. I have faith. That same day, while waiting at the mechanic, I received an email. It was from a recruiter. She said she wasn't supposed to be calling. They had finished hiring. But a new position had opened in my state just yesterday. She said she thought I was the perfect fit. She offered a six-figure salary, full benefits, and a start date in October. It was everything I had affirmed. I started acting as if I already had the job. I created a Pinterest board for work clothes, apartments, and my upcoming work trips to Israel and California. My fiancé and I contacted rentals as if we could already afford them. I went to the gym and said, I make six figures. I gave to others, paid for coffee, and lived as if I had abundance. For my interview, I wore what I imagined a millionaire would. I presented a personal project I was passionate about. The panel of hiring managers started negotiating with each other for me. I wasn't chasing them anymore, they were chasing me. I left the final interview knowing it was mine, and a week later, I got the call. They told me 4 managers had wanted me. 1 fought for me. This is my first full-time role, and I'm making six figures. I can't believe it, actually I can, because I believed it first. Here are the techniques I used. 1. I wrote, I am Sam, and I make six figures, on paper and hung it near my bed. 2. I spent money from gratitude instead of lack. 3. I made decisions based on gain, not fear. 4. I listened to music that made me feel like a CEO. 5. I drove with the mindset that I was meeting clients. 6. I put in car quotes, researched new insurance, and contacted rentals. 7. I dressed like money was no concern. 8. I created a Pinterest board for work life. 9. I used present tense affirmations. I work at X company. 10. I kept the mindset of abundance, even while broke. This was not luck. It was intention. God is amazing, and so are you.
I had been expecting one final check from Social Security. It was supposed to be for around $200, but I didn't know exactly when it would arrive. Last night, as I was falling asleep, I did a money visualization. I used the S8 technique, state akin to sleep. During this session, I had a clear thought. Social Security is going to realize they made a mistake last year and they actually owe me more money. I visualized money flowing in from all directions. I imagined swimming in it. Then today, just a few hours ago, I checked my bank account. There was a deposit from Social Security, but instead of $200, it was $10,000. This was the biggest back paycheck I've ever received from them. There was no way I could have predicted it, especially not the amount or the exact timing. It was completely unexpected. Lately, I've been reading The Law and the Promise every night. It's kept me feeling positive and confident about manifestation. Today, I cried happy tears. This experience brought me pure joy. The S8 technique has worked for me many times before, but this time was the most powerful. Interestingly, the easiest thing for me to manifest has always been money. Every time I use this visualization, something shows up, and each time the amount grows. A friend of mine also tried the same technique. She woke up to find $4,000 in her account. If you're having doubts, consider this your sign. This is real. Never underestimate the power of your own imagination. I had to share this. It was a huge success.